men cry. Men go through things. And it's okay for you to give them the room and the space to express these things that they go through. Hey, my elegant family, welcome again to another episode on the Winners Club Elegance channel. Today's video is going to be, of course, about the men. It's an episode on the Dear Men segment. I remember we started the Dear Men segment to involve the men in the conversation so that they don't feel left out. So I thought it best to invite a high-value, elegant man to the couch to come share some knowledge with us women and just let us into the world of the male folks by sharing a few things that he would like us women to know and understand about the male folks. So without further ado, join me as I welcome my very elegant, high-value friend and...
I need to hold my head before I follow.
Welcome to my couch.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Finally, right? So guys, before we go ahead, just a brief introduction. My friend here I'll call him my friend. He's my, should I call you a business partner? Yeah. He's a friend, he's a business partner, he's a brother in the Lord.
Absolutely.
And his name is Ayodele Jonathan Ajayi. Hello.
I'm alright.
Welcome to the couch.
Thank you so much.
Why are you looking so fine? And then you wore a nice outfit for the ladies.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks.
Okay, can you tell the ladies a little bit about yourself and what you do?
My name is Ayodele Ajayi. I'm so many things. First, I'm a child of God, and it's the most important thing. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have a couple of businesses. And what else is it about me?
I think that's
I'm a gentleman.
He's a gentleman to the core. I like to think that Ayo is someone who I would consider a high value man, like I've called him so many times. Definitely an elegant man. He's a very gentle man, and he's all about the doings of making things happen. Like he said, he has lots of businesses that are thriving. If you've had like businesses like, should I mention some of them? We have Pure Life Pharmacy. If you heard of Pure Life Pharmacy, he's one of the co-founders, right?
Director.
And the director at Pure Life Pharmacy. He also has a dry cleaning firm, one of the biggest in Lagos, right?
Washroom.
It's called The Washroom. Yes. Then what else?
Galantis.
He has the Gallant business, and he does his business is not just in Nigeria, but globally as well. So when I say he has his head correct on his neck, he does. He's a wizard, a business expert. I think I'm going to even bring him on the couch again to talk to the men folks of the Winners Club Elegance community about business.
Yeah.
But for today, he's here for us to have a conversation. So I've titled it 10 things that he wants us women to know and understand about the male folks.
Yeah.
So he's pretty much speaking on behalf of the male folks today. So the men watching, listen, and then be sure that he's actually representing you guys well. And if he's not, go ahead in the comment section and say just let's continue the conversation there. But the women watching, I want you all to pay rapt attention to today's episode, because remember, like I said, the Dear Men segment is just for us to have conversations that help us understand each other so that we can live peacefully and in harmony, because whether we like it or not, we need each other. And the only way for us to successfully live with each other is if we understand each other. So this episode is for us women to get to know more about the male folks. So Ayo, without further ado, I think I'm going to open up the floor to you and allow you just air your mind and tell us this thing once and for all so that we can hear it.
Okay.
Alrighty, let's go. So what's the first thing you'd like us women to know?
Thank you for this opportunity.
My pleasure.
To the viewers, we'll be shaking it out of tables, but it's for the best, right?
It's for the good.
Yeah. So, the first thing is men are also emotional. Most times, female folks think, because you're a man, you're not, allowed to express your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I tell a lot of male folks, it's okay to cry.
Mm.
It's okay to let it out. Right? We try to man up a lot of times, but then again, it's okay for us to express our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So the female folks feels like, emotions are only meant for women. And they don't expect male to be emotional about issues. Yes, it's okay for you to be emotional. It's okay for you to express how you feel. I mean, you just have to control and contain it, but it's okay for you to be emotional. So, dear women, you need to understand that guy right there as emotion.
So that's the first point?
Yeah, that's the first one.
So before we go into the second point, because I already told me, when I don't talk much, I go straight to the point. But I have questions and I need answers to questions.
No problem.
So you say it's that you want us to know that men are also emotional beings.
Yeah.
So emotional beings in the sense of the fact that they feel things.
Exactly.
And then it's okay for them to express it.
Yeah.
And then you're also telling the male folks that it's okay for you to express it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've heard a couple of men complain at certain times that they try not to express their feelings because when they express their feelings, women don't respect them when they are vulnerable.
So it's just is a societal influence.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've spoken to me in a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I have emotions, I need to feel a certain way as well.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to express how I feel about it,
Mm-hmm.
not just man up or just bottle everything up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a false narrative that the society pushes to us, and that's why you find a lot of women abuse men verbally.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? So because as a young man, you're being taught to just bottle everything up. So even if she talks to you in a certain way and you don't like it, you feel some kind of way, you are not supposedly allowed to express how you feel about it, right? It keeps piling up.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day there'll be an outburst.
An explosion.
So most times it's okay for you to express how you feel. Oh, what you said the other day, those words hurt a lot, right? It brings down my ego, or it makes me feel less a man, right? I mean, if you want to tell me stuff, there are better ways to communicate so that I can understand. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Not for you to shut the woman down.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But let the woman know that choose your words carefully, because if I talk to you in that way as
you
well,
would not like
you
it.
would not like it. Do you understand?
Yes.
So express how you feel emotionally, right? Have a conversation with the person, right? And let the person know that this is how I feel about it. Because you have feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You have blood running through your veins. Do you understand?
Okay, so it's still on these emotions. I think this is actually I like that you started with this.
Yeah.
So we know that the prominent emotions, there are different types of emotions,
Yeah.
ranging from the ones that are high intensity to the ones that are very low intensity. The other side of the emotions that we should also mention at this point is the emotions where a man has to feel vulnerable, has to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
has to cry. When something is hurting him, he has to cry. I know I have a friend who constantly complains that life is not fair to the men, that men are saddled with a lot of responsibilities and they are supposed to always show up and man up. And then whenever they come and they don't show up like that, they tend to be disrespected by the female folks.
Yeah.
So what would you like to say about that to the women who are watching? I know some women who say, I can't stand seeing him cry. Don't cry in front of me. In fact, at some point I was like that until I came up to the knowledge that, see, men cry. Men go through things. And it's okay for you to give them the room and the space to express these things that they go through. So I want them to hear it from the man. What would you like to say about the times when a man is so vulnerable to the point where things are really getting to him? He wants to cry. He wants somebody to talk to who would understand him and not take advantage of what he's telling or sharing with her.
To be honest with you, it's okay to cry. Most men cry, I know that. But most times they do it in their closets when no one is saying, right? But if you have a partner that is understanding, right? It's okay at times, not all the time. Do you understand? In terms of ratio, maybe the woman will cry to you 9 times out of 10. So it's okay also for you to cry 1 out of 10.
Why 1 out of 10?
I mean, because you are the man. Do you understand? You have, like you said, you have to show up, right? You are like the strong man.
Who has given the man
I think it's just our nature.
Responsibility to be strong.
I think it's just our nature naturally, because a woman wants to lean on your shoulders, right?
That makes sense.
So because of that, they are in that space and it's okay.
And you can't always show weakness.
Yes, you can't always show weakness. Do you understand? But then again, there are times that it's good for you to let out some emotions.
Let it out.
Do you understand? Because bottling up most times, and that's why you see a lot of men nowadays, they die of maybe heart attack or something. Depression.
Yeah.
Because they just bottle a whole lot of things up.
What advice would you give the women watching, right, who may not know how to handle the feelings and the vulnerabilities of a man. Because I know that one of the major complaints that men have is, I don't express myself because I am not valued. I don't feel respected. When I share these things, the person takes it for granted. They laugh at me. They make fun of me. So what would you tell the women that they should do or they can start doing to protect the feelings and the vulnerabilities of a man when he comes to share their vulnerabilities with them?
I think the first thing is to realize that he has emotion as well. So when he expresses those things or when he tells you those things, do not use it against him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? Because he's coming from a deep place, and then it took a lot. I think it even takes a lot of effort to even let it out.
Yes.
So when someone is able to gather that courage to let out what they are going through as a man, then I think as a woman that is highly emotionally intelligent should be able to pick that. For this man to speak up, for this man to say this, he has gone through a whole lot.
Something is going
through. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Then do not at any point in time. And I think ladies should also take this. Please do not vindicate people when they let out their emotions. Do you understand? Don't let them feel less of a man.
Yeah, of themselves.
Yes, and that's why globally you see a lot of
suicidal men.
Yes. And most times it's because they can't share what they're going through. And then because they know if maybe they might have shared it once or twice and
they got laughed at.
And then all those things. So please, we need to be very sensitive about issues like that because these are issues that are coming from a deep
place.
So for example, let's take for example a man that's trying to care for his family. He has a lot of bills to pay. Maybe he's a businessman or maybe he's working. And then his resources is not enough to fund that lifestyle, right? Everybody feels a man to provide. No matter how you do it, just provide. So most times we have that pressure and then they can't let it out. Yeah, at times men to men, we do that. But there are times that it could even be a lady that can help you or a lady is in a position to help you.
True.
But you don't want to put out yourself there because you don't know how that lady is
going to take it
and treat it.
So I think what I'm hearing you pretty much say is that we need to be more sensitive to the fact that men also have emotions and they have feelings.
Yeah.
Before I move on to the next, I would say that me personally was one person who was not really very sensitive to the emotions of men back in the many years ago, until I started to develop what I call emotional intelligence, like you've mentioned. Emotional intelligence will teach you that, see, when it comes to emotions, there is no such thing as male or female. There is just emotions that happen to different people at different times. And I like how you use the example of a man who is pressured with the responsibility of knowing that he has to be the one to keep providing and providing. I think it's a tough word for men. And what they would want from us as women is to be supportive in the best way we can, and then of course protective of their emotions. So be a safe place for this man to come share his emotions with you. And I promise you that when you have made yourself a safe place for him to share, he would keep sharing and keep sharing. And sometimes, men, once they have found a safe landing, they won't even know when they are spilling their own secrets.
Yeah, true.
That's one thing I have learned from being in a relationship where I am sensitive to the feelings and emotions of the man that I'm dating. Be a safe place. Don't judge. Don't condemn. Don't look down on. Just accept that men have feelings and emotions and then treat them as such from a very sensitive place. Yeah. Thank you so much for that very first point.
You're welcome.
Okay. That was deep though. We have 9 more to go.
9 more to go.
What's the second one?
So the second one is you need to realize that a man is an individual. We have a lot of cultural norms about men, right? But treat every man as a separate entity, right?
That's a good one.
Yeah. So we have general saying, oh, men are this, men are that, men are this. Please, if you meet any man, try to understand the man. Don't judge the man based on the cultural notion you have about men. It doesn't give you a good opportunity to experience that person. A very good example is a lot of young, pretty ladies are careful to work directly with men because there is cultural norm that the man will ask you out.
Or want to sleep with you.
So you also go with the mindset of you are boxed already and then you are doing things like, okay, I know he's going to do this. No, please.
Like your actions will not be based on what you think is true, not on the real fact.
Not on the real fact. So even if you've had 3, 4, 5 bosses that have done the same thing. When you make the 6th person, give that person benefit of the doubt, right? So it also helps in relationship as well. When you meet someone that's maybe they call it talking stage, right? During your talking stage, don't assume that, oh, this man. I mean, there might be some patterns, right?
True.
Take note of patterns.
Look out for those things.
But then again, experience each person, right? Don't just box them.
It's like how they say, all Femis are cheats, Yoruba demons. And then you meet a Femi, you're like, this one.
Exactly.
But meanwhile, that Femi is one of the saints of them all. I think I really like that point. And something else I want to say under this point is that when you don't experience people based on their individuality, you should change yourself.
Absolutely.
Because your actions will now be based on your past experience and not what is actually true. And what if, like Ayo has said, what if that person is the one that is the different from the rest? You would have missed out on the beautiful opportunity to experience that person on a new level. So, I mean, shine your eyes, open your intuition, and let your intuition guide you on what is right. And then listen to what the person says and watch out for patterns. I think that's what I took out from there. Beautiful one. And I think I would also say, apart from dealing with men, I know this about men, but even generally in life, even with your girlfriends, your female friendships and all, also just treat people from an individual standpoint. Ayo, wait, before we continue, I didn't know you were this wise, oh. Okay, moving on to number 3.
Number 3, social pressure. You see, this is very deep.
No, what does that mean?
Social pressure. So generally, women just have a particular demand from men socially. So that's like
that they must meet up to a certain expectations. What are these expectations, please?
There are a lot.
Can you name
As a man, you're 30, you don't have a car, you don't have an apartment of yours, you don't have a job, you don't have this, you don't have that. And this comes in various directions. It could actually come from your parents as well. It could come from your mother. Right, you come from your elder sister. They believe at a certain age you should have attained this, right? At a certain age. My answer to that is time and season. If you understand what the Bible says about time and season, you would understand that you don't mount pressure on Ayo that you're 30 and you don't have a car. When Femi was 30, he had 2 cars. You need to understand Ayo's time and Femi's time.
And they're also individuals, like you said in the second point.
So this pressure, actually the marital pressure for men, right? At a certain age, if you're not married, the society feels you are useless. You're just...
Oh wait, men have that pressure too?
Yes.
Chimo, it's not only the women that have the pressure.
Yes.
Okay, we didn't know this though. Hello.
Most times I think the women mount the pressure on themselves. To be honest with you, but for men, people mount the pressure on men, and they believe you should be married because they believe the men are the permit my use of language, the hunters, that you're supposed to go and look for the lady. So they feel like you're the one that is not making the effort
to go and look for the girl.
Right? But for ladies, most times, I think you guys mount the pressure on you. You just feel like, oh, I'm 30, I'm not married, I'm this, I'm that. Do you understand? But from the men's perspective, right, women need to take it easy on men. Let's even talk about in marriages, for example. I hear some women or some wife mount pressure on their husband to say, oh, see this guy, see what he's doing, right? See what this is doing. It is really unfair.
I've heard stories myself.
Yeah. A lot of times you hear people or you hear wife comparing their husband to someone else, or it could even be the school that the children are attending. They say, oh, can't we change the school
to a better
school? You can see this man is doing this. Those pressure are uncalled for. If you understand time and season, right? The point I'm trying to make is you don't mount pressure on people.
Okay, so I think what I'm hearing Ayo say is like we need to ease off and ensure that we're not putting unnecessary pressures on men. I want to ask a question. So when a girl meets a guy, right? And she's looking to have maybe a long-standing relationship with the guy. Some women go in with this notion that men are supposed to be providers of their needs, and at least to a large extent, which I know and I've debunked. I've said this is a very wrong mindset to have as a woman. A man should not be your poverty elevation scheme. A man should not be someone who you are going to need to provide things. But if you're looking to have a long-term relationship with this guy, right, you expect that he should have certain things in place. You like this guy. If he doesn't have those things in place, because let's be honest, right, these physical things actually help make relationships easier. So for example, a guy who has a car, right? I know that if you have a car, and I mean, I shouldn't be demanding that a guy has a car if I don't have a car myself. Right? But this guy doesn't now have a car, but I really like him. What happens in a situation like that?
So to be honest with you, it's good to aim for the good things of life, right? Also, you need to be futuristic. I think you should focus on the content, right?
Of the person.
Yes. And then from the content, you can project the outcome.
Good one.
Right? So he doesn't have a car.
I like that.
Does he have a good job? Is he saving towards buying a car?
Is he ambitious?
Do you understand? So if, for example, he doesn't have a job, or he doesn't have any skill, or he's not pushing himself, that's a problem. So I won't ask you to stay true and be saying you wait. No, you need to understand if the person is on the right track, right? I've had staff that will tell me, I mean, by the way I speak to my staff, I try to encourage them, especially young guys and young ladies, right? So I was speaking to one of the ladies, and then I was like, why don't you have a boyfriend? And then she said, oh, that she has people that are talking to her, or that there's this guy that she really likes. And then she said, but he doesn't have a car. And then I asked him, what does he do? He said he works in a bank. I said, oh, that's a good job. Is he planning towards it? She said, yes. I said, so why not work together with him? And in no time, I think they got a car. I mean, they're married now, right? And I'm happy to hear that, because that was a concern, right? But in addressing your concern, are there things in work, or are there things in the process? Just trust the process and let it be, right? Another guy also wanted to get married, and then he said, oh, I'm like, why are you not married? He said, because I don't have money for the marriage. The first thing I asked him is, do you have where you stay? He said, yes. Have you been paying your rent? He said, yes. And then I'm like, you have a job? He said, yes. I said, so what is marriage?
The ceremony itself.
It's the ceremony itself. Cut your cut.
According
to what you have.
You don't have to call people.
Exactly.
It can be very little minimal.
And then I told him, drop a budget. I went through his budget. We can do this. Okay, you can do this. That. I told him, give yourself a timeline. How much can you save? And as I speak to you, the guy is married.
Nice.
So these are pressure that people just put on you.
Pressure.
Do you understand? And it is expected. I mean, I once had one friend as well. When I wanted to get married, I told him, you don't have to break the bank, right? He used my suit for his wedding. After the wedding, I told him that this suit is my name on it.
No.
Did anybody know that this suit was not yours? And he did the marriage. They are happily married now with 2 kids.
Nice.
Do you understand? So most times we just put unnecessary pressure on ourselves, and most times, I think when it comes from the opposite sex, right, it eats differently. Especially if it's your mom, your elder sister that is mounting those pressure on you, or even if it's your woman that is mounting those pressure on you, it's just very difficult.
So what I'm hearing you pretty much say to us women folks is we need to ease up.
Yes.
Ease off of the men, like relax.
Yeah.
They are meant to. And I think that there's something you said that I picked on. When you meet a person who you're looking to have a future with, don't just look at the now.
Exactly.
Right? Raise your gaze and look at the future, and predict what the future will be based on what you can see now.
Yeah.
So, is he ambitious? Is he driven? Is he passionate? Is he lazy? Is he motivated? Is he unmotivated? Ask yourself those things, and then the actions he's taking now, can you predict his future with what he's doing now? And then use that to make your decision. Of course, Ayo is not saying go suffer with a man who doesn't want to make anything out of his life. But when you have met a man who maybe doesn't meet your expectations to a certain degree, don't put the pressure. Try to encourage. And I know that women can also act as fuel for men as well. To propel them to action, if we do it the healthy way.
Yeah.
So a woman can make a man come out of his comfort zone. I know my boo usually would, I shouldn't say so much about that. Okay. But the point that Ayo is making under this third point is pretty much saying, ease up on the pressure and stop pressuring the man in your life. Not just the man you want to date. If you're a mother watching, ease up on your son. Exactly. Ease up on your brother if you're a sister right? Yeah, let's go to the next point.
Just like what I told my female staff, I'm like, when my wife married me, I was not like this. I didn't have all what
you have now.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, but it was just a process.
Life is progressive.
So if you are looking at, if you want a man that has everything now, most likely you are not going to get that real man because life is in process.
I like that. All right, number 4, Ayo.
So number 4 is encourage men, don't push them. So there is a thin line between encouragement and pushing people. I can tell you, Winifred, you need to do better, right? Because I know you have the ability, you have the mind. Do you understand? What do you do with your leisure time? Maybe you need to focus more on this and this. All this, I am encouraging you. It can also swing south to pushing you. Winifred, you need to do better.
You're not good enough.
Don't you have sense?
Yeah.
Or why can't you use your sense? Do you understand?
So that's the toxic side.
Exactly. So you are pushing the man and it doesn't bring out the productive aspect of it. So I can say come. My come can mean command.
Can be a command, yeah.
And then come, it can also be a request.
Yes.
Depends on the tone.
The tone.
So I see women as a fuel that keeps one going. And it's not just your wife or your girlfriend, even your mom.
Yes.
So I have this relationship with my mom that I once told someone that why I cannot go into crime or why I can't stand crime is because my mom has trusted me so much that I don't want to betray her trust. From when I was a young child, right? Even in my university days, I didn't do a lot of things just because of my mom's trust, right? That's her encouraging me. And there's this Yoruba saying, before you leave home, they'll say, run to your community one share. That is, remember the child of whom you are. That's what goes a long way. So when you want to do something, you just think about it. Will my mother be happy if she finds that I'm doing this? Those are encouragement, right?
Yes.
Those are words that will keep you going. Also, there could be some toxic mother that would tell their kids things are not right?
Okay, you use their son.
And then they feel like they're using it to push them. Eventually, you push the boy to go and commit a crime. And then both of us want to make mama proud. I want to make my mama proud. He also wants to make his mama proud. But because my mama has told me things like, remember the child of whom you are. You are a child of God, right? You must not do certain things, right? But the other woman is cursing, right? Pushing. Can't you say, Mecca? Can't you see this? Do they have 2 heads? We say that a lot. Do they have 2 heads? This is that. And it has a negative effect on them. The same thing in a relationship. Do you understand? Encourage your man. Even if things are going south, your encouragement, right? If he lost his job, you as a wife, if you encourage your man, your encouragement to make him dress up the next day, pick up his documents and go out again, go and try again. But if you push him and say, oh, I've been suffering with you for all this year, say now you even lost the job, then it's over. This, that. You are not encouraging the man. So I want every woman watching this episode to understand that you are a support system in any capacity. It could even be a sister to brother, right? It could be your younger brother. You are a support system. Encourage this man. Make them feel that they can do it, right? And let them know that you are a man. God has placed this thing in you. Right? Make it work. I can also say that you are a man, but you are not being man. Do you understand?
I get that. So I think something you just said now is sometimes some men don't even see the potential in them. And
absolutely.
It takes a woman to come and show them this potential. But I think what he's pretty much saying is how you say it and how you show this man this potential that he has matters a lot. Some men see it as you nagging them and then they end up resenting you. Meanwhile, your mind, you think you're doing something good, right? And then sometimes, these men end up resenting you because truth of the matter is that nobody wants to change because you want them to change. They want to change because they want to change. You can't nag a man into change. You can't nag a man into being better. Your intentions also matter as well. So I know women who are encouraging men, not because they see the true potentials in the men or because they know that this man has a purpose to fulfill. They are encouraging them for their own selfish reasons because, my man has to look good in the eyes of this, or these are the things I'm gaining. I better be doing this thing so that this man remains this way. That's very selfish, and I think, in my opinion. So encourage a man from a place of, this man has a full potential and has the ability to be what God has called him to be and fulfill the purpose God has called him to fulfill. What role am I supposed to play to help him accomplish it? I always tell women something. We don't know how powerful we are as helpers.
Yes.
And I say this thing, as a helper, before you can help somebody who is down or who is even up, you have to be firmly fitted yourself.
Absolutely.
You have to be wise. You have to be smart. You have to already have life going for you. You can't help somebody when you're down. It's impossible. So you have been put in a power position as a woman to be a helper. So when a man in your world is not living up to expectation, or apart from even expectation, the man is not living up to his potential, you know this man can be more. But maybe his mindset, the environment where he grew up in, has crippled him. What do? You encourage carefully.
And then I feel women have this gift from God. Women can see the future.
True.
Than men.
100.
So when you see, that is where you should 100. Use this gift.
Your gift.
Just to encourage the man.
I like that. Thank you. Thank you. Ayodele. The men folks must be very proud of you, man.
I hope so.
All right, number 5.
Communication style varies.
Ooh.
Right? Just like what I said earlier on, treat every man as an individual. Right? You also need to understand that the way we communicate is different. Fine, it might be patterns, right? But you need to understand, how does Ayo communicate? Do you understand? Will Ayo tell me expressly that, oh, this is what I want? Or will he just tell you, okay, figure it out, right? Or if Ayo tells you, do anything, does it mean that he doesn't know what he wants? Or does he want you to just be in control? Do you understand? So we need to understand men, the way they communicate. You need to understand that this is not coming from a bad place, right? This is just how he communicates, or this is how his words are.
Sometimes he doesn't even talk, he just takes actions.
Exactly. There are times that he doesn't
Some men don't talk much. They just take
action.
Yeah, that's a good one. So pretty much what you're trying to tell us here is that different men have different communication styles. And when you have come to understand that this man really truly loves you and cares about you, however way he chooses to communicate, know that it's coming from a good place, and he has your interests at heart. So understand that. Now, there's the other side of communication. I don't know if that's in your notes, but the side of how women communicate to men. For example, a man has communicated his intentions to me. Maybe it's not pleasing to my ears. How do I respond? Or how I respond matters a lot and can trigger things in the man that can now have a boomerang effect on you. That's either going to be positive or negative. So how you respond to his communication matters a lot. Do you want to shed a little light on that?
So I think it's just pretty much emotional intelligence. You see, emotional intelligence works so much that you understand even the unspoken words. Do you understand? So when your man tells you things, or when he makes some comments, right, you also need to understand where it's coming from. I used to tell someone that
I like that.
Before I respond, right, I need to put myself in your shoes, because the way communication works, it's two-sided. For example, if I write a 6, to me 6, to you is 9.
It's 9.
So I can only understand if it's a 6 and I don't box my mind that this is 6 and it's 6, and nobody can tell me that it's not 6. But if I could think about
have an open mind.
That's what if I see it from this perspective,
or that perspective,
then you can understand. So when you are communicating, right, don't make communication be a close-headed cycle. Communication, I mean, we did this in school. It goes wrong.
Try to look at it from the other person's point of view as well, because they might be seeing things differently than you do. And then, of course, in communication, things like your tone. Your tone matters. The things you are saying.
Your facial expression. You can say something and then your facial expression is saying the opposites.
I've personally been in a situation when I know that I didn't mean harm, but how I communicated it was not right to the other person. And I got that boomerang effect that girl, I'm like, I didn't mean harm, girl, but how did you say it? All those things actually really, truly matter as well. Thank you. Moving on to number 6.
This is biblical.
Number 6.
Yes.
Okay.
Is respect and validation. You know, when the Bible talks about women respect your husband, and then it commanded the men to love their wife. You see this thing about respect. I agree it's two-sided, right? But if you respect your man and you make your man the king, what are you?
The queen,
Automatically.
Period. But when the man is not acting like a king, uncle, What do we do?
I don't know about
I've
that.
seen many men who don't act like kings.
No.
They are acting like paupers.
No. Maybe you're not meeting the right men.
No, not me. I mean, me. Don't get it twisted. Mine is a king.
Exactly.
The king of kings. I mean, I'm talking about God. I'm talking about the king.
No, but the truth of the matter is, right?
I get what you mean.
When you respect your man, or not even your man, just
generally,
yeah, just respect. You see this thing about respect. It's so funny that I tell people that you don't have to know who this person is before you respect them.
True,
right?
I like that.
But in this part of the world, we want to know how man you are,
his status, his social status.
You can respect you. So if you show up like a big man, then everybody's saying,
yes, sir. That's not respect.
It shouldn't be. Just respect people for who
they are. And what is respect? Respect is just respecting people's boundaries.
Yeah.
When they have said something, respect their values, respect the things that they have said. If a man doesn't like to be spoken to in a certain way, because I know a man that says, I don't like it when you say things like, I behave like a child. When a man has said that, no, I mean, I hear things like that. When a man has said that to you, and tomorrow you know that he doesn't like it, and you go and say, you are a child, you behave like a child. You know that is going to hurt him, and you just disrespected him, knowing fully well that is something he doesn't like. So what's the point you want us women to take away from this particular point you've made?
Just respect every man in your life. Respect and validation. So even if he's a younger brother, right, he deserves to be respected as well because he's a man, right? Then validation also matters, right? We don't get out of validation, right? And as I said, we are.
What do you mean by validation? Can you explain to anyone who may not understand? So you want us to validate your emotions, your feelings, affirm you.
So if you say something, I mean, when you show up to work and you see a man that is well dressed, oh, you look very nice. You look good. Right? Or if he has done something good, right? Let the person know. Yes, you are doing good.
I remember there was an episode that I filmed where I talked about people who are not very quick to give praise.
Yeah, exactly.
So somebody does wrong, your voice is the loudest when they've done wrong. But when they now do something good, you don't even give them their accolades for doing something good. Yeah. So respect and validate. Yeah. I also have come to learn that respect also means different things to different people.
Absolutely.
Now, we're talking, everybody deserves respect. Respect that baby in your house. Your baby has boundaries. Yeah. Your baby likes to be treated a certain way. That woman, that girl, everyone deserves to be respected. But for the sake of this video, we're focusing on the male folks, right? Now, I've come to understand that respect means different things to different men. Yeah. I know some men who are very big on, oh, you must call me yes, sir. My yes, sir. The sir must be at the back of my name. If not, you've not respected me. But to some other people, that doesn't mean anything. So you have to identify what respect means to the different men in your life. Yeah. And again, like I've said, respect is just pretty much respecting their values. Knowing that they have said this thing about a certain thing, and this is how they want to be treated about a certain matter. Yeah. You treat them that way. They don't want you saying things about them like this. You treat them that way. What is the boundaries that they have set? Help ensure that you are respecting those boundaries. Staying loyal to them. Staying trustworthy and truthful to them. Those things are part of what contributes to respect. Right?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Thank you. Noted. Alrighty. Point number 7, Ayo.
Point number 7 is inner struggles are real. Every man has inner struggles. Forget the man that show up like a giant. Don't think because a man is so confident he doesn't have his inner struggles. So we need to put that at the back of our mind. A very good example is when I get into a room, I'm usually very quiet. When I don't understand people or in the room, or when I don't know people in the room, I'm usually quiet. But when I get a hang of it, then my confidence is on 100%. However, that doesn't mean I don't have my fears. That doesn't mean I don't have my inner struggle. So for the fact that I'm that man that is giving instructions, saying this, saying that, you also need to know that this guy has his inner struggle. So you also need to be careful with it. Very important.
That's also where emotional intelligence comes into play.
Exactly. Because people just feel like because you have everything put together.
And he's always showing up strong.
He doesn't have, your Bible say, you are the one that knows where your shoe is pinching you. Right? So everybody have their inner struggle, and it's often very weird.
How can a woman reach out to pull out or to get a man to talk about his inner struggles? Because I know that inner struggles are things that I know anybody would want to share with someone to help deal with. So if, for example, I'm in a relationship with you, what would you like me to do
You already said it. If you make yourself a safe place,
a safe place,
right? The man will spill out everything, right? And then you know that this man has this struggle. Forget the fact that he's showing up strong and showing up good. He has this struggle, and then you'll be able to. So it's just making yourself that safe place. Yeah, and then it would open up to you.
And women, I also want you ladies to know that sometimes even when a man is not opening up, we know.
Yes,
we can sense it.
Yeah.
I know when there's something going on with my boo and he doesn't want to tell me, and then I go, what is the matter? And sometimes when you ask the first 2, 3, 4 times, they don't want to answer. But don't be persistent in the way you ask. You can just change your manner of asking.
Yeah.
Change your manner of asking. Change your strategy. They will open up. They always do.
Or you come in with love.
From a place of love. From a place of love and understanding. They always open up eventually. And again, when a man opens up to you, I think I'm speaking for the men when I say this. When a man opens up to you, protect that thing he has told you and never use it against him. Yeah, that's how he will keep coming back.
Yeah. You'll see, men are just like children because it's just like when your child comes to you and tells you, "Mommy, this happened to me today," and then you're quick to shun him or just send him away. He won't come and tell you that same thing tomorrow.
True.
So men are like children, right? So when you take what they have said and then you nurture it and then you make them feel heard and feel safe, right? They would definitely come back to you.
That's why women, we also need to work on our insecurities, our childhood traumas, those things that make us flare up and do things we're not supposed to do. When a man, for example, wants to open up to me about his past escapades, but because I have insecurities, I won't even allow him to land before I give him lash. Okay, so this is what you were doing. You were running my mouth up and down. You told me to just be quiet and listen. I'm running my mouth because of my insecurities. Yeah. I mean, not mine. I'm just giving an example. Heal from your insecurities. Heal your childhood traumas, so that you are bold and confident to face what this man has to tell you without interrupting him or making him feel less of himself. Ayodele, thank you. You're wise. And thank you for being so open and vulnerable.
Thank God.
Yeah.
That's why I say I'm a child of God. I'm representing my father. So
I love it.
He has endowed me with a lot of wisdom and knowledge. And it's not just for me, it's for me to share with the whole world.
And I see the guys behind this camera, they're all nodding in agreement, like, yes, please speak for us. Okay, Ayo, point number 8.
Point number 8. This one is the traditional stereotype. I think there was a day I made a video on my Instagram. I think it was Father's Day. Right, and I just opened up to men and say, Happy Father's Day, right? I know we don't get to be celebrated like the women. You guys have maybe like 4 Mother's Day, maybe like 3 or 2 International Women's Day, a lot of celebration, but we don't get that amount of celebration, right? So there is this societal stereotype towards men. A man is believed to be this. A man is believed to be this. Some of them are right, but
when you say this, can you classify the this?
Depending on where you come from, right? But there's a societal notion. So, for example, the Yorubas, they believe, for example, if you're a married man, when issues happen, they'll tell you just be patient. Everything, just be patient. Just be patient. And I'm like, is it that you would not trash out issues in marriage? Or is it that you would not, they just say patient?
Be patient.
Patient. So, it's more like a man is not meant to talk because you can't win an argument with a woman. Do you understand? Because you're a man, you just have to be patient. Because you're a man, you just have to be strong. Because you're a man, you just have to be this, you have to be that. I mean, we should be careful with some of all those things because most times it blocks men, right? For example, the point of being patient, both parties need to be patient with each other.
True.
It's not just the man.
Not just the man.
Right? If there's any issue, for example, right, and the man wants to talk, he should be allowed to talk as well. He should be allowed to air his views.
Share his feelings and emotions.
Do you get? So, we should not just box people up because of societal
traditional
beliefs. Some people believe your man should provide for you 100%. It shouldn't
like
be.
The Igbos.
It shouldn't be. If you see a relationship as partnership, right, you both should make it work. Do you understand? So
do what works for you.
Exactly. So this society stereotype is really bad. So for example, another one is if you see a man cooking. There are some people that feel, no, why should a man
agree with that.
Cooking? Why shouldn't a man cook? If you see a man cleaning, taking house chores, some tribe will say he has given him vegetable. He has put something in vegetable.
I heard one man from, I think it was Benue State or so, say that the day his father comes to his house and sees him in the kitchen is the day his father will, I don't know if it's Benue, please pardon me, I don't know, it was from one of these, is it southeast or southwest states, said that men are not allowed to enter the kitchen. Oh. And I'm like, why?
It is wrong.
That's being handicapped.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things that you just feel man should not do this, man should. I totally disagree with that. Growing up, my parents make sure that I partook in all the house chores, and it helped me because even when I'm alone, or even before I got married, I could cook, right? I could clean my house. I could do all these things by myself because I did not live with that cultural stereotype of a man must not do this, a man must do this. So women, we need to be open-minded. We need to understand that we don't need to box our
times are changing.
Yeah, and then times are changing. Yeah.
At the beginning of this point, you talked about women are mostly more celebrated than men.
Yeah.
I think in our defense, right, men are not very used to doing things that are celebratory.
How do you mean?
I'll give an example. For example, you go to a restaurant with a woman, right? Or you go somewhere with a woman. The woman is the one that's most likely going to pull out her phone to make videos and take pictures to create memories.
Yeah, I get that.
Yes. The woman is most likely the one that's going to do all the mushy things that create memories. On TikTok, in recent times, you find a lot of women say that if they are not the ones that they have lots of pictures of their husbands and their children, but none of themselves and the children, because the husband is not taking the pictures. And the woman says she scrolls through that. There was even a particular time she was looking for a picture of herself and her child and realized that she didn't have one. And all the pictures she had was either of the child and her husband or the husband and the child together. There was none of her. Meaning that the man is not the kind of person who brings out the phone to celebrate. A man is not likely going to come out and say, put a video collage of his mom and say, happy birthday, mom, and post it as a reel on Instagram. A woman is most likely to do that. So that's the reason why it looks like the women are being celebrated more than the men. Not because the men are not actually being celebrated, but on the outside of things, men don't do those mushy things. And I thought to chip that in so that you can understand that we celebrate you guys, but you guys are the ones that don't help yourself by doing the things that help you celebrate yourselves. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. A little bit.
People think it's mushy to take picture. Somebody will tell me, why you take a picture of your food?
Exactly.
It's for me.
It's time to eat.
You see my point?
It's time to eat.
But tomorrow,
go in and dig in.
But then tomorrow when we go to that same restaurant and I want to make reference to what we eat and I pull out the picture and make your life easier, like, oh, okay, yes, this is what I meant. This is what I meant. Meanwhile, if I didn't take the picture, how would you know that this is what you meant? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I agree.
Okay, Ayo, point number 9.
Point number 9. I mean, I think we've talked about it, but I still have it in my notes. Pressure to provide.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a lot of pressure to provide on men. There's no cast in stone. Times have changed. Not even times are changing. Times have changed, right? The same way you expect your man to do house chores with you, the same way you expect your man to cook, the same way you expect your man to do what is expected of women, right? The same way I think women also should see themselves as a co-provider. So do not pressure the man to be the one to provide. And to be honest with you, kudos to a lot of women out there. They are really putting up for their man, right? Really showing up strong. Even if their salary is X to their man's salary, right? The children don't even know. You get my point? Because they don't know who is providing what. They just know that once we need this, mom and dad will get it. Right. And I think that is something worth emulating. Right.
So I have something to say under this particular point.
Go ahead.
So because some men, and like you said, let's not generalize.
Yeah.
Some men are very egoistic in nature.
Yeah.
And they have grown up with this mindset that it's not a mindset. I think it's
a societal thing.
Is it a societal thing or a responsibility that was given to the man? The society
has imposed that responsibility on the man. So the man now feels, I have to be the one to do this. I have to be the one to do this.
Is it from society, or if we go back to the Bible, we know that this was a responsibility that was given to the man.
To provide?
To be a provider.
Yes.
Yes.
So the Bible, yes.
And that is the reason why that sometimes when a real masculine man cannot provide, he feels less of himself.
So that's why I said pressure to provide.
No, not even pressure. Nobody's pressuring him. But he can't do the things that he would want to do as a man.
Then he's not pressuring himself.
So that's not for women to know.
No. My point is pressuring your man.
A woman
be a provider.
pressuring.
Yes.
Okay, so that doesn't translate to the man is not the provider.
No, the man is the provider.
He's the provider,
yes.
but don't pressure.
Exactly.
And then support. Because you said something like the same way we want him to do basic house chores is the same way he expects us to provide.
No, not expect you to provide. Expect to support in providing.
So wait. No, I'm not against supporting your husband or your man.
Okay.
My own argument is this. I'm a woman of the Bible. I follow principle, and God is the one that designed this marriage.
Yeah.
And He's the one that has said everybody has responsibility.
Yeah.
Nowhere in the Bible is it written that the cooking and the cleaning and the arrangement of the house is a woman's responsibility. Even though women tend to do those things because it comes to us easily.
Okay.
Right? But it is clearly written and stated in the scripture that the man is the provider.
Yeah.
So you cleaning and taking, if you were living by yourself, okay, you won't clean, okay, you won't cook. No problem.
So, no, my
okay, you
point
won't cook
is,
your own food.
Ayodele. Hold on. My point is, don't pressure to provide. Now, don't pressure to provide can also be interpreted as not providing enough, and you want him to do
more than he is capable of doing. Oh, okay, I get that. Makes sense.
So I'm emphasizing on the pressure. The man is a provider, and the man must always show up.
Always.
Do you understand? The man must always show up. However, please, the pressure part.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Don't pressure your man, especially when you know that his capabilities are at a certain level and you're expecting him to deliver at a certain level. I know a man who has committed suicide. Yeah. My friend actually told me about his neighbor who committed suicide because his wife was pressuring him to send them to the UK. The pressure was so much that the man started to collect loans and things from different people just to meet up with his wife's pressure. And the pressure from the wife was coming from the fact that she was comparing their situation to another person's situation.
Now you get it.
And the man committed suicide. So that pressure, kill it.
Finally, can you guess?
Yes.
Why is finding my notes? So finally, everyone benefit from open dialogue. So we need to create an atmosphere for open dialogue. You talk, I talk respectfully.
Disagree in peace.
Absolutely.
Disagree in peace. That's what I hear you say.
Absolutely. With these 3 points of mine.
No, wait. No, Ayo, don't do that. Don't do that. You have to expound on that last point.
So,
because I find, sorry, let me just interrupt you a bit. I find that some people have made it a norm and have said that arguments and fights and disagreements is part of a relationship.
Yes, it is.
And I disagree because you disagree on something does not necessarily have to lead to chaos.
Lead to a fight or a chaos.
It doesn't have to lead to a fight.
Absolutely. And as I said, open dialogue.
You can do this peacefully. You can have your disagreements and I have my disagreements. We both respect each other's opinion. But we haven't agreed yet. Does not mean that anybody is right or wrong. It's just your opinion and my opinion about the matter.
So I picked this from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the habits is think win-win. So think win-win means that you can have your opinion and it's okay for you to air your opinion and stand by it. It's okay for me to have my opinion and stand by it. But think win-win now means that we need to have a common ground. Especially if we are partners that we're moving on a journey. It could be work related, it could be family, right? But you must at every point in time have a midpoint to meet each other. So that you can move forward. Because even Bible said in Amos 2 verse 2, how can two work together
unless they agree? That's a very, very, very valid point. And I also think that it's a skill that we all need to learn.
Exactly.
Don't feel bad when someone hasn't agreed with you. And you don't have the other person has no right to feel bad when you haven't agreed with them. It's just our opinion. So learn this skill. I think it's also a skill called, it's when you master the act of effective communication. It's a skill that can actually help you have communication with whoever without it leading to a fight or a brawl, regardless. It's also a skill that allows you to get in touch with your emotions and let you know that, okay, this emotion I'm feeling is going to make me say the wrong thing. So I'll just shut up my mouth and just listen and observe. Right? Does that make sense? Speaking of effective communication skills, we have a course in the Winners Club Elegance community called the Art of Speaking Eloquently and Elegantly course. It's a course that anyone who wants to level up in their communication and be able to communicate their thoughts, feelings, and ideas in the most effective and articulate manner, both in their professional and their personal lives, needs to get. So just click the link in the description box down below to get more information about the course, access it, and start using it today. It will definitely help you level up in your communication. Ayodele.
Yes, ma'am.
Ayodele Ajayi.
Yes,
Thank you so much. I know that I have learned quite a number of things when it comes to how I personally would deal with the male folks in general, not even just my partner, in general. And one major thing I'm picking up from here is that the men also have emotions.
Absolutely.
Men feel things. So let's not be part of the struggles or the problems that they have to deal with. Let's not put unnecessary pressure on them. They also have things that they are going through, and then just because they are tough and they are men and sometimes they don't show, doesn't mean that they're not dealing with these things. Thank you so much for coming to share your point of view. And if you're a man watching today and Ayo has represented you well, but you say, Ayo, you didn't say everything. Please go to the comment section and leave your point of view in the comment section so that we can all continue this conversation together. I said to you that the reason why we have created this dmen segment is to bring men into the conversation so that we can all understand each other better and live in peace and harmony. So your point of view and your opinions matter to us in this community. So please do well to leave us a comment or two. Okay, that's pretty much all that we have for you on today's episode on the Dear Men segment. I hope you have learned a thing or two as I have. I'll see you next time with another episode. Until then, remember to stay beautifully elegant. Take care.